Hey, what's up? I'm Amanda.
I'm Emily, and we have a special guest, the one and only
Miss Cris. And we
Good
are
Vibes Only. We're
two
putting out the
moms.
vibes.
We're two moms, one mic, and today we are talking about, I guess, Mrs. Cris' journey with motherhood, how she dealt with a child who had health issues or went through something, and then how she had to navigate her own health issues while raising children.
Yeah, so double whammy there. So let's start with your daughter because that was the first health situation that arrived.
Yes, she was born with a heart condition too. The main arteries were reversed, and she had 2 holes in her heart, which typically close on their own. Hers wouldn't. We didn't know this, so she had open heart surgery at 5 days old, stayed in Sick Kids for 2 months, so I lived at Sick Kids Hospital for 2 months while my 2.5, 3-year-old, almost 3-year-old son was at home being raised.
No indication at any ultrasound that this was going to be the outcome.
No, because back then it wasn't mandatory to look for heart conditions unless there was something physically wrong with
like a genetic history of it.
There was nothing. Every ultrasound was good, healthy. She was scheduled for C-section because they're like, she's going to be a big baby.
Yeah.
She was tiny, obviously, and she turned blue in my arms.
Wow.
So they took her, and then within 8 hours, she was down at Sick Kids, and...
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is like, bing, bing, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so dealing with that, and then...
Yeah, like what was going through your head? Do you remember all those years ago? Like,
it's just
you
like
had
yesterday.
your baby and then boom.
Yeah, it's just like yesterday, and I had her via C-section, so they wouldn't bring her to me because they're like, you just had surgery.
Yeah.
You know, just relax. And I was like, no, I need to see her. I actually started yelling at the nurse, so the nurse said it was like almost like a sign that I had asked for her because I could have brought her home and she could have turned blue and died at home.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be for her to come, but like within 8 hours, boom, she was gone in the ambulance, my husband behind, and
here you are, cut open.
And I can't leave the hospital.
Helpless, can't even do anything. Oh my God.
They wouldn't release me. She was born on Friday morning, and they wouldn't release me. I got released Sunday night, and I only got released because I caused.
If you know her, this makes sense.
Yeah.
If you know Miss Cris, you know that this makes sense.
I was like, I don't care. Give me drugs. I'm not staying. If you don't, I'm just gonna walk out. And so Sunday night they had no choice. They had to release me, and then I did not leave her side for 2 months that we were at Sick Kids. Like, I stayed in her room. I wouldn't move from there. So
while she was there, this was just for her to recover during this whole process? Like, what was happening during this 2 months?
During the 2 months, she had her surgery, again at 5 days old, and she was in neonatal intensive care unit for a week. So I slept on the couch outside of the unit, because obviously you're not allowed to stay in there. And then as soon as they brought her up to the 4th floor, I was there as she was recovering. She still had her drainage tubes out. She was being fed with the feeding tube because she was so tiny at this point. She was not even 5 pounds. Her IV was on her head.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So it was hard to even hold her because she had
So why did they think that she was going to be so big? What indicated that?
My son was almost 9 pounds when he was born.
Oh, so it was just...
And I had an emergency C-section with him, so they're like, you're never going to have a child. Like, you're never going to have a normal birth. So I was like, okay.
You just
so so she was really tiny, so it was just the healing process, and then once slowly tubes and wires were taken out, it was trying to teach her how to feed properly.
Oh, yeah, because at this point, she wasn't
the feeding
bottle
tube
feeding.
for 2 months.
Yeah.
Well, she still had the feeding tube when we brought her home. She refused to be breastfed.
Wow.
She did not want it. Even with the bottle, it was hard. So we had a nurse come to the house for another month after she came home to kind of work with her. But
yeah. So at that point, so now that you guys are home, what was the prognosis? What was the doctor saying, like, her life was going to be?
They said, obviously she needed to be checked at that time. It was every 6 months. And everything, like, her heart was fixed. There shouldn't have been no issues, but being monitored, it was like, just kind of go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I think once she turned 2, they were in awe with how she overcame everything. And they were like, do you guys treat her any different? We're like, no, we treat her like a normal child. Obviously, we're a little bit more protective with, like, germs and stuff like that. But they also did testing on her because some kids that were born with congenital heart defects have other disabilities that come along with it. Because she was so tiny, when we brought her home, she was actually under 5 pounds. Like, I had to go out to Toys R Us and buy her doll clothes.
Oh, wow.
That's how tiny she was. So because she was so tiny, almost considered like a preemie, they didn't think, like, she would develop mentally, like, her motor skills, and she just kept proving them wrong every time. Every time I went to sick kids, they were just like,
I love that. Yeah.
Wow. And I said, yeah, so we never kept her in a bubble. And she now has graduated to Toronto General Hospital.
Okay, so she's still being monitored.
Yeah, for life. She'll always have to be monitored.
Is it once a year now?
No, now it's once every 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Unless something, God forbid, happens.
Yeah.
Now it's once every 2 years, but as soon as she turned 18, she graduated from Sick Kids to Toronto General.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And now she's 21, playing in a Division II university in the States. She's playing soccer. So.
Wow. Living a very active lifestyle.
She keeps proving it all the time. And when you see her out there, people are like, wow, she had heart surgery. It's like, yep, they rewired her. But,
wow.
Yeah.
So now we have to add another layer to this. Because this isn't just about your daughter's health journey. You had problems.
Yeah.
So now you have, how old was your son?
When Isabella was born, Austin was 2.5, almost 3.
So, but when your stuff kicked in, you now had two
yeah.
Oh, like toddlers.
Yeah. I was doing home daycare because Austin wasn't in school yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I got sick with my kidneys. So I have a rare kidney that I produce rare kidney stones. I don't pass my stones. My stones stay in a pocket in my kidney, and they just form into clumps, and they cause severe kidney infections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
was this something at this point, like, you've battled before? Like,
no,
just randomly started getting these stones and infections? I just started getting pains,
and I was like, when we get our period, we get cramps, and we get backaches, and I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. No, we're very profanity.
And then it just, like, I just passed out. And when they took me to the hospital, I had, like, literally the stones were clumped. It was like this.
Oh.
So I've had 2 surgeries where they had to cut me in the back to get them out. And I believe it was the first urologist that I had that caused all the nerve damage around my kidney.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so after that surgery, I had a pee bag in my coach purse because,
you gotta keep it classy. You gotta be classy about it.
No, I couldn't walk because I was in pain. I was like, this is not normal. Like, for a week, okay, but, like, it was going on to 3 weeks, and I'm like, something's not right here.
Yeah.
And he was just writing out, like, prescriptions, and I said, like, what are you doing? I'm not here for drugs. Like, there's something wrong with me. So I refused to see him anymore, and he transferred my files to one of the top urologists down at St. Mike's, and from there, that's when they noticed that there was damage on the outside from where they cut me. But again, because my kidney's so rare, I had to do a lot of testing because it's not, everybody's like, oh, cut down your calcium. No, it has nothing to do with calcium.
But, sorry, this is crazy to me because how old are you at this point?
Yeah. This started in 2007. I'm going to be 51 this year. So I can't do mental math.
Neither can I. I can't do
I
that. I gotta pull out a
I'm
calculator.
going to say like maybe my early 30s.
So at this point, you've gone, we'll say 30 years without a kidney stone, without a kidney infection.
Nothing.
And all of a sudden, one day you're on the floor.
Not even a urinary tract infection, like nothing.
So how did you go from functioning to having this rare kidney disorder?
It was hard. It was hard because I had 2 little ones. My husband at the time was traveling from Monday to Friday for work, so it was me. I had some help, but at the end of the day, I'm in the house by myself with 2 toddlers.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, your anxiety hits a high because at this point, I still don't know what's causing it. Because again,
like, do they not know, like, what was the light switch that made you go from, like, I'm functioning to, like, I don't function anymore?
After so many tests, then we kind of figured stuff out because I also had to go see a nephrologist. I had to go see a nutritionist because they're like, okay, because again, we all assume calcium.
Yeah.
It's calcium. Or you don't drink enough water or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not me because I first of all, I'm lactose intolerant. I said, so I stay away from dairy.
Yeah.
But after, I'm going to say it probably took a good 2 years before they finally said, okay, so your kidney's rare. You've got this pocket on the bottom of the kidney where it's like if you put salt in the bottom of a glass of water and you shake it, that salt's staying there. It's not moving. So that's what was happening.
Yeah.
My stones were a rare type of stone.
Oh, my God.
They did a lot of testing. So from 2009, after all the testing was done, I am not allowed to eat no red meats. My sodium daily intake has to be very, very low.
Because these things are hard on your kidney.
Yeah. I can't eat any dark green leafy vegetables on a regular, especially spinach. But now I just figured rapini because last week I overindulged in rapini.
Oh, no.
And I got an infection.
Wow, that quickly.
And I also ate spring rolls, and on my 4th one, I'm like, there's meat in, there's fucking pork in the spring rolls.
Okay, so veggie spring rolls from now on?
So I was like, oh, okay, didn't think. And then on Thursday, I was like, I'm dying. I said, oh my God, I haven't felt that bad in a long time.
Oh,
so, you know, a lot of people will tell you, oh, you shouldn't drink too much. Cranberry juice is bullshit.
Okay, ladies,
For
document
me,
that.
Cranberry, like that's a myth. Cranberry juice does nothing for you. It doesn't flush nothing out. You drink your water. Now, some people, will say to you, but drinking a lot of water can drown your insides. No, drinking water fucking helps me.
Yeah.
Like, I need it. I drink 4 liters of water a day. Like, I need it. And if I don't, my kidney, I can feel my kidney being like, hello?
Yeah.
And that's...
Wow.
So I had to change my entire
lifestyle,
like my diet. But again, the infections were coming. The nerve damage was really bad. It came to a point that my body got immune to all, heavy-duty pain meds.
Okay.
That when I had my hysterectomy in 2015, I had 17 staples, and I'm pushing the button for more morphine, and the nurse came, and she was like, you met your quota for the day. And this was like noon.
Oh.
And I said, okay, this is a problem because... I couldn't function. At this point, anybody who knew me before all of this, I was active. I was that mom.
I thought you were deadlifting.
But I was that mom even with the kids out on toboggan runs, going up and down. Nothing stopped me. Now at this point, it was hard for me.
And you're still young.
Yeah.
You're
point,
young. You have young kids who need you.
Yeah. So.
And you're like.
And I couldn't. And sometimes even just getting into a car to go grocery shopping was a lot. So I had to stop working, which, takes a toll not only just mentally, but financially. It just, when you have little ones, it's a lot. And then you carry that mom guilt because you're like, I'm always saying no to the kids. They're still too young. They don't understand that mommy's sick. Like, mommy used to go tobogganing with us in the backyard. Like, why is she saying no all the time? Mommy used to, like, play soccer. Like, mommy did this, and now all of a sudden, mommy keeps saying no. Or mommy's on the couch all the time. Or mommy's crying all the time. When they're that young, they don't get it. They don't understand, right?
Yeah.
So, it's... when you're a parent and you're sick, not only does it affect you because your lifestyle changes, but you carry this huge guilt because
you want to be there.
You want to be there, and you're like, I've just kind of ruined their world. I've ruined the whole family dynamics now. Like, as a family, we can't really do much because it's my fault. Then I'm not working, so it's my fault that financially there's a little bit of a strain, right? So like it's just more and more and more, and it affects you. And then when you don't want to talk, not that you don't want to talk about it, but you don't talk about it because then you feel like there's worse out there. I might sound like a whiny bitch if I keep on,
Yeah.
And so you keep it all in. You keep it all in. You have your cries in the shower, but that's not enough, right? So then it takes you to a dark place. And then you kind of become an ugly person because you start arguing with everybody. Everybody starts becoming an asshole. You don't want help from anybody. So it's it's not easy, right? And then you're still taking care of the 2 kids.
Yeah.
Right? And then you kind of have this anger towards your spouse because, you're traveling. Meantime, he's working, but he's out of town. But I'm like, you know what? Like, what the fuck? You're out and I'm here and I'm dealing with all of this kind of thing. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's one
you
thing.
Were a single parent during the week. You really were. And although, like, he was, and I could relate because, you know what, during my maternity leave, like, my ex was gone for 4 months.
Yeah.
And he was only back on the weekends. And, like, I understood he was making money for the family, but I'm here doing everything alone for a child, and that was a lot on me.
Yeah.
So I know how that feels because, like, my mental health, like, started to go down like this because it's like, what about me? Like, I matter too, and you don't have someone to tap out with.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's all on you.
Right, and then we feel guilty because we're like, okay, I'm being selfish now. Like,
because
I'm
complaining.
You're
that
like hands on a wheel, and you're not going anywhere.
You're like, okay, like I shouldn't, and I really shouldn't.
Like, you want to be logical, but then your emotions are also taking a big bite of this cake as well. Like, that's hard.
It's and then then we kind of adapted to mommy's like new lifestyle, I guess. But then, as you guys know, just before COVID hit, I had to have surgery where I had a spinal cord stimulator implanted. My kids were older at the time, yes, but still, again, it's a mom guilt, right? Because they're older now. Like, we should be doing fun things.
Yeah, you're so close to getting your life back, and
they're
then it's
teenagers.
Like the next derailment.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, Bella had her prom, and I had surgery, and I remember crying because I could not go prom dress shopping with her.
Oh my gosh.
So my son's girlfriend took her. And I was like, when I tell you, and then I was like, am I dumb for crying? Like, is she not getting married?
No,
but still,
you're mourning something that you expected to do. Like, you look forward to
and
doing.
I felt guilty. And although now at this point, the kids, both of them are teenagers.
Yeah.
They understood it. They're like, Mom, like, we get it. You know what? Don't feel guilty. And I'm just like, I know, but
saying that, it still doesn't take away, like,
I do.
That expectation was there, you know? Like, that's, oh my gosh, that's
so,
hard.
you know, you carry that. And then, of course, as you get older, you're kind of, it hits you even more. Because now, like, it's just a build-up. So you just carry this guilt. Because now my life really changed physically. Because now I have limitations on what I can do and what I can't do.
Yeah.
So as we were discussing before, like working in the daycare, I went back to working in the daycare. That's where I got Miss Cris from, working in the daycare.
Yeah.
I used to dance with the kids. I and then that was like taken away because I have wires up my spine. And so again, something so simple maybe for you or for you, for me, I need to be like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Right? So again, financially you get hit. you carry this guilt, and now like depression really hits. Like you're in a really dark, like.
Yeah.
So when people say depression
No, we're good.
hits, like I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Because then we don't think about ourselves.
Yeah.
And then you feel guilty if you think about yourself because you're like, okay. And I always say, I'm like, yeah, but there's people out there that are worse. And then I had a friend, they said, you're absolutely right, but this is your worst.
Yeah.
And it hit me, and I was like, you know what, you're right. They're like, this is your worst because you were here before, and now you're here.
Yeah.
But now you're like, at that point, like, I didn't, like, at that point, I think everything, like, even if the way my husband breathed, I argued with him.
Yeah.
Like, the
At this
tension.
point, you're full of resentment,
Yeah.
you're full of anger,
Yeah.
you're full of disappointment,
Yeah.
you're grieving, you're mourning, like the life that you could have had is
Yeah.
basically stripped from you. I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Like, at that point, if you blinked too many times, it's like, you know what, take those
But then-
fucking
but
eyeballs
then-
out of your head.
But then it started with the kids where I was getting mad at them for stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it finally hit me, where, I don't know, something with, and it happened with the kids. I mean, whatever. My husband's my husband, but like, when it's your kids that you affect, that's when it hits. And it's
Yeah.
like, hold on a sec. I need to stop and like really focus, and I need to snap out of this shit. I need to focus on me, and let's get back and appreciate and move forward and think positive and deal with what we can deal with, kind of thing.
Control what is controllable.
Yeah. So that's when I kind of snapped. That's when I kind of snapped out of it. And now here I am. Now you guys see me.
And yeah.
I mean, now it's like legit. Like I give zero.
But what was the process of snapping out of it? Like, did you? What
What
changed? What did you do?
There was
What-
something, again, like I said, it was
Did you
with
go
the
to, like,
kids.
therapy, like, anything?
Well, therapy I started 2 years ago, but that's after my husband had his strokes and had brain surgery. But I snapped out of it where I focused on me in a sense, like, again, you know what, when we dress up, not dress up, but like, we get our hair did, we
Yeah.
get our nails, it's the
You
little
start
thing.
look good, feel good.
Yes,
I always
right?
say it, yeah.
And then I was like, okay, Cris, so you can't go and bench press 120 pounds like you used to, but you could do 3 pounds. Work with what you got. Maybe you can't go for hikes anymore.
I always loved your stories of, guys, today I went down the block.
Yeah.
Today we went a block and a half.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
your little wins were so inspirational.
Because then that was like, you know what, for me, that was huge. And I'm like, and then that's when it really started to kick in. Like, we forget to appreciate the little things that we can do because we're always thinking the bigger picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not, shit, I got up today. Some people can't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what
You really
kind of
reframed.
Yes, right. So that just really got me. And then again, yes, the support from a husband is great, but your kids are your life. So when you get that support from your kids, that's just like your air. That's your breath. That's
Yeah.
like, okay, I got
Your
this.
reason
Like,
for
let's
going,
go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And at this point, they're older, right? So they understand. So like even them, they're like, "Come on, mom! Like, fuck, let's do this!" Like, cheering me on. Way to go, mom! You did the block or you did whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, just appreciating the little things that I could do, and I'm like, okay, but at least I can do this. Journaling. Not that I used to laugh at people that said journaling, but I'm like, what do I gotta write down my shit for? I can't even read it because then you're angry and you're like, I can't even read.
Yeah.
But it helps because you're letting it
Oh.
out,
Yeah.
right? Talking to friends. You don't want to put too much on friends, but you always have that one or two friend that they're there to listen to you
Yeah.
and encourage you, right?
Yeah.
Therapy, I wish I started therapy back then.
Yeah.
But not that I was ashamed of therapy, but sometimes I think a lot of people will often think to themselves, I don't need it.
I think it's also something that's a lot more accepted now. Like now,
Yes.
Like I feel like
Yes,
coming
'cause
out
back-
of COVID
yes.
and stuff, people are like, yeah, like I talk about therapy all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
It's the best.
yeah,
It's the best investment.
it is. It is.
When you invest in yourself, that
It's the
truly
best
is the best investment.
Like I always tell people now too, I'm like, if you're looking for therapy because you want the therapist to say you're 100% right, I said no, then you're not.
Yeah, you got to do the work.
I said you need the tools. If they can provide the tools,
Yeah.
and then after you're like, okay, my feelings are validated, or this is what I need to do to work on this or this, then yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. So I wish I did it back then. You guys have known me for a long time, but even after my surgeries, like and I snapped out of that darkness, the positive attitude was there. It wasn't there 100%, but it was there.
Yeah.
And it was getting better. Again, then with the kids being older, it's just easier. But again, as a mom, you got to take care of the house, and you got to, even though my kids were teenagers, one was in college, the other one was in high school, and of course she was dealing with being in high school throughout all of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
she's, essentially
in
grieving and
2020,
mourning
she
her
was like-
own
yeah, like
things
she's
as well.
like
She had
years,
expectations that got changed too.
What
She-
grade was she when COVID hit?
grade 10.
Oh, so yeah, she lost her high school experience.
Yeah, and she was actually, once everything got lifted was when prom happened.
Okay.
Okay, so
Right?
she got that.
But then here's my son who started college, and he had his first year being in the school, and then the rest he was in his room,
Wow.
Yeah.
right? So both him and Isabella graduated the same year, and so we got to go to his graduation ceremony. But I feel like he kind of missed out on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As well. And then I don't know. I find like they didn't get to live their teenage years as
Yeah.
they should have.
Yes.
Right?
I look at like my cousins too. My cousin was in grade 8 when, no, sorry, she was in grade 12 when COVID hit,
Yeah.
and then even she was in nursing school, and she was doing Zoom classes to get
Right.
assessed on like how to make a bed, how to do this, how to do
How
that.
crazy is that?
And I'm like, but you're a nurse.
Yeah.
Like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. No, it was hard. And so that, not that it's a mom guilt, but you kind of feel bad for them because you're like, I wish, like, you always want more for your kids.
I don't think it's spoken enough that it is very possible to grieve expectations that you had.
Yeah.
And I think that really gets overlooked a lot. I think people like, oh, remember they always say resilient. You're resilient. You're so resilient. But you know what? Like, it's okay to grieve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you're disappointed, you can grieve that.
Yeah.
When you had an expectation saying, I was going to, do this with my friends, or I was going to have this college experience. Like, you make up these things in your mind.
Yeah, because that's
It's
part
a
of life.
loss. It is a loss. Like, you grieve the things that you
100.
don't get.
I think and I'm going to touch on like how you used to say like, oh, but there's worse things in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's okay if we're allowed to feel like,
Yeah.
this is our
that's
worst.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
going through a divorce, I had someone say to me, like, and they didn't mean it the way they said it, but they said, like, like, there's worse things. People are dying. And I said, but this is my worst
yours.
thing.
Yes,
I mean,
This is what I'm going through. I know people die every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
100%.
I'm grateful I'm healthy. I'm
Yes.
grateful, like,
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
family, my
You
village.
can have gratitude, but
Yes.
you could also
But
grieve at the
I'm
same
allowed
time.
to be
Yes.
upset for what I'm going through.
Yeah,
You're
because
allowed
it's
to
exactly,
that.
and that's why when my friend said that to me, it hit that's when it hit me, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, because this is my worst, because it's not just for me, it's affecting the family.
Yeah.
Like at one point during my darkness, I even said to my husband, I'm like, I wish I wasn't here. I go because I feel like I'm
A burden
ruining
at this point.
all
Yeah.
of you guys, like your lives and stuff like that, right? So, you're right. We're allowed to grieve the things that either the way things used to be, or now you're like, shit. It could still be like this, but it's not going to be like how I really
Yeah.
wanted
The expectation
to
that you had of how your family
Yeah.
would be growing up
right?
and that was lost because you felt like you couldn't do certain things
Yeah.
as a family because you were limited.
Yeah.
So that's like
Right.
another
Fair.
thing too. Like you touched upon it a little bit, but like now your husband had health problems.
Yes.
So you guys basically had like a trifecta.
Yeah. So like I just had, I think I just had my 5th surgery when he had his first stroke.
Wow.
And that was just like, okay, it was a very minor, and we're like, okay, but like now you're, pins and needles, the anxiety's hitting, okay, we got to make sure that.
Like at this point, I feel like everyone's like PTSD.
Yes,
is
and this is all happening, I think, just closer to the end of COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to heal, and I'm not healing properly. And then when you're not healing properly, you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're not focused, and we always like. Not a people pleaser, but I felt like I needed to take care of everybody, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And that not just mentally but physically, that like hit me hard. Because whatever, waking is waking, but I gained weight, but I wasn't sleeping. My gut, like I wasn't eating properly. Mentally, obviously, your mind's always going to dark scenarios kind of thing. And then once again, everything is on you. So I'm like, shit, am I doing this right? Should I do this? Maybe I shouldn't do this. I don't know. The kids are this, and maybe with him. So it's like a mom and a wife guilt because everything is on you. And then when he had his second stroke, it was a bad one. And he had his brain surgery that same year. And then something just hit me. I'm like, enough. I could still take care of him. I could still take care of the kids. I need to like really take care of myself because I can't be this ugly person anymore. I need to love myself because I don't love myself right now.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of women forget to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
We forget to love ourselves, right? And loving yourself could even mean I want to go to bed at 9 at night and wake up at 7 in the morning. I just want to sleep without waking up in the middle of the night, having a fucking panic attack or making me sweating because, oh my God, I forgot. Like, we forget to love ourselves, and that's one thing that I think is important because if we don't love ourselves and we don't take care of ourselves, we're allowed to be selfish. And I said that to a friend the other day. It's okay to be selfish.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Because if we're not good, then we're not good for anybody else.
It's just like, it's amazing. Like, I feel like the more women we speak to, the more common themes come up. And it doesn't matter what their scenario is. We spoke to someone who is a mom of an autistic daughter. We spoke to a business owner. We talked to all these women, and the common theme really always comes down to take care of yourself, because then everything else is going to fucking hit the fan. And we see it all the time. And it's amazing how this theme always comes up, but yet so many people don't do it.
They don't. And then, but then you do have people that when you start to like love yourself and be a little bit selfish, people will say like, oh, so everything is perfect now? Fuck no. No.
Those are not, that's like, not the same.
First of all, there's no such thing as perfection. Because if you claim to be perfect, you're full of shit. I don't give a shit how great your life is.
Yeah.
But there's still some like down days. Like, I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, like this morning, I mean, I was like, why are you breathing? Like, you know what, like it's okay to have these, but I'm just saying, like, we need to be selfish.
Yeah.
We need to. And even if it's just going for that 10-minute walk, fucking go on that 10-minute walk. Who gives a shit about those dishes? Who cares about the laundry? It'll get done. And that's the thing. We stress too much on, like, the little things.
Yeah.
Then now it's just like, we got a roof over our head. There's food on the table. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's healthy. When shit gets done, shit gets done.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But it took a long time. But now you guys see. I dance everywhere. I dance in the parking lot. I go visit, my dentist. Like, life is not perfect, but I'm happier. I've accepted my life as it is with all my health conditions. It's okay that my life is not going to be up here anymore because I appreciate the little blessings. And there's more peace in the house. There's peace even with my daughter being away. There's peace with my son who's 24. He's an adult. Like, everything is good. Like, yes, mom has health issues, dad has health issues, but
how do you think having parents with health issues like affected your children? I mean, I know you can't really talk on their behalf, but like, I don't know. Like,
so
like,
I know,
how do you think that shaped them?
I know my daughter, it affected her because she kind of became the mom.
Oh, okay.
So she kind of became the mom now in the home, and this is during COVID. So now she's dealing with her shit because she's going through high school.
Yeah.
And it's COVID, and she's in at home, secluded from her friends. But here's mom who's sick, and she felt the need to do all the groceries. Her and her brother, Austin. But like, she was the mom.
Yeah, she was more managing.
She was the
her
mom.
brother. Yeah.
Because he was the driver. Like, he drove, right? So Austin, we got to go do this, and cleaning the house and doing the laundry and helping to prepare foods. I mean, my husband and my son, everybody in my house knows how to cook. Hello. I don't know
It's kind of the brand.
Yeah, because that would be kind of like a disgrace if they didn't know how to. But still, it affected my son, but my son is more of quiet. Like, my son, I think more men are like,
they just kind of like internalize
yes. But for her, it really, like, because all of a sudden she became the mom.
Yeah.
And like, it was a lot. And I think at that point too, when she was trying to determine about even universities and stuff, I think it was harder for her because she knew she was going to go away.
Yeah.
But she didn't know if she could go away.
Oh, okay.
Because she almost felt guilty if she left.
Yeah.
Where Austin's a homebody, so he didn't go away. Like, he was like Humber, drove up and down or whatever. Yeah. There were a lot of times too when I said to them, I want you guys to live your life as you should.
Yeah.
Don't worry about us. And they're like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. Go out. Don't worry. Like, we're good. No, but what if nothing's going to happen? Just go and live your life.
Yeah.
Again, guys are different than girls. Austin just he keeps everything in, but I know with Bella, like, it was really hard for her. Like I said, she became the mom.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I see your stories now when you cross the border and go visit her. Like, you could, like, there's like a friendship there.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are like friends.
Oh, like, listen, sometimes we're like, no, you gotta be a mom first. Yes, you have to be a mom first, but you also have to have that relationship, like a best friend relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Son or daughter, you have to have that relationship with them, right?
Yeah.
But we've always been open in our house with, talking about everything and anything. So I think that kind of helps as well. But a day doesn't go, technology, we always bitch about it, but I think it's like the best thing because people are like, don't you miss her? I was like,
yeah, that was going to be my next question. How is it parenting a child who is now living out of country? Because really, she lives out of country.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I miss the noise because she's a mini-me. My son is like my husband. They're quiet. Me and Isabella, we're like, woo! Like, she'll dance. Like, we're loud. So I miss because it's quiet.
Yeah.
But, again, technology with FaceTime, like, we must FaceTime each other. I don't know how many times she FaceTimes me, like, in a day, or I'll FaceTime her, or, text messaging and stuff like that. So you almost feel like she's here.
Yeah.
Right? Because I could see
you guys are finding ways to connect, and you're making it work.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So, do I miss her? Obviously, I miss her. But I'm like FaceTiming her all the time. Like, it's ridiculous sometimes.
And you make the trip quite often.
Yeah. So, I'm fortunate where I can get in the car and I go. And I will take every opportunity to go down there because right now she's only a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah, exactly.
If she chooses to remain there and move somewhere else, it might take whatever. But again, that's another thing that I keep not drilling in her head. I keep telling her, this is your life. This is your path. I don't need you, because one time she's like, well, what if I find a good job here in the States in what she's studying? She goes, what do I do? I said, you do what your heart tells you to do. You go for it. She goes, but what about you and Dad in Austin? And I said, what about us? We'll be fine. Like, we'll come to you.
Yeah.
Like, this is your path
don't
now.
worry, we'll keep making it work.
Sorry,
what is she taking?
She's taking psychology.
Oh, wow.
I believe she's going to go into forensics. Again, things are different in the States than they are here.
Okay.
It's a whole different, like, even the education, the type of jobs, it's different. And the sad reality is the opportunity
there's more opportunity.
There is more opportunity. So I said to her, it's your path. You got to do you. You got to stop worrying about what about us. Because I'm like, shit, I'm going to go buy a house in Costa Rica. And you guys
don't know
can
you're getting cold, so you know what? Just tell her to do something a little bit more south, and then you'll go down too.
Right. I mean, like, you know, she's in Tulum right now. She's like, I have a great idea. I think you and Daddy should retire and buy a house in Mexico, and I can come and, you know, visit you guys on vacation. I was like, you got it all figured out. But, like, life is different today too, where not when we were back in, like, in university. Like, there's just different, there's different means of traveling. Like, our parents, imagine our parents driving to Buffalo. Yeah. Like, how many times a month to go there?
Oh my God, I wanted to go to U of T, and my dad's like, yeah, you're going to New York.
Yeah, because it was, exactly.
It's not that far.
But for them, oh, deal, you're going downtown.
I know.
So, I mean, life is different in the sense where we can, you know, just let's hop in the car and, you know.
Yeah, my husband's cousin, she's in England. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta take the car where it takes you, I guess, you know?
Exactly. And if you're fortunate enough to be able to do so. And I think that's why, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't say, like, I don't, like, my situation is different because I can get in the car. Like, there's not a full-time job career that's holding me back where I can say, I can't visit her. Although with my baking and my cooking, her first year, I was just taking so many orders that I would be like, Bella, I can't. Like, I'm booked solid. And again, the guilt kicked in where I said, I gotta stop this because like these orders are not really making or breaking my bank. Yeah. And I'm killing myself at the end. Yeah. And I'm like not taking this opportunity to go see like my daughter. Yeah. So I've changed that now. Your mindset,
how you do things. Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah. Now it's just like, so she doesn't even ask me anymore, you know, Mom, what about you haven't, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm coming to see you. Yeah. We're good. But it's life is a journey. It's a roller coaster. We take our ups and our downs. And like I said, we need to appreciate the little things that we forget. And it was like you were saying that we have these expectations. And I think we need to kind of snap out of that. Yeah. It's not, there's nothing wrong with having expectations. Mm-hmm. I'd rather call them goals.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Goals. There's nothing wrong with having a goal. But just because your life is like this or your life is like this, doesn't mean that my life needs to be like that. And I think that's another problem too that we compare a lot. Yeah. And with social media, that's, you know, you're seeing everyone's highlight reel, right? And you're like, oh, why am I not like that? Yes, and even if someone's dealing with health issues, you're like, oh, but look at them though, like how they're progressing or how they're... So I often get asked, why do you share so much about your health journey? I said, well, because, or Isabella's, because you guys know, especially in February, I share about her. And I said, because my story or her story might help somebody else in any way. Yeah. In any way. It could even be like encouragement kind of thing.
I agree.
And I can't tell you how many DMs that I've gotten, even with, like, when I post about her and stuff, where they're like, oh, wow, like, look at her. And I'm like, yeah. You know, then there's people that follow me and they're like, you know, I actually got a DM today and somebody messaged me and she was like, because of you, I've stuck to going on my treadmill every day.
That's
Very nice.
amazing. Yeah.
Motivating.
Yeah.
Something so small
Yeah.
that we take for granted and we're like, oh, whatever. But no,
That's a win for her.
It's a win. So even when people see me now do my basement workouts,
Yeah.
I do the same. I
my
work out in
5 pounds,
basement.
listen, my 5 pound club, right? People are like, what's the heaviest? I'm like, my 5 pounds.
Yeah.
But at least I can do 5 pounds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now we appreciate the little things and not have that guilt that I can't do this, or, you know, that hate or whatever.
Yeah, it's reframing your mindset. Instead of saying, what are all the things I can't do? Like
Yeah.
you said,
You said.
this is
looking
what
at
I
you
can do.
Yeah.
These are my wins, and just take it from there.
You just take it from there. I take their blessings. You know, again, like I said, life is not perfect. Life will never be perfect. We'll still have our shitty days, but shitty days look different now
Yeah.
than they did before, right?
Yeah.
And I always say, and if you need to cry, just let those tears out. And that's another thing I think people forget to do. They just hold them in.
Yeah.
And that's worse. Just cry.
Yeah.
Cry. If somebody
Let it
sees you, who cares? It's just like when I say dance, shake your ass. Who cares who's watching? If they're laughing at you,
They're not. They're
Like-
not your people, anyways.
No, they're not vibing. But
That's not the vibe.
but you know me. I don't care. I still dance.
Of course.
You just do whatever. It's but yeah, you know what? Anybody with health issues, anybody dealing with anything, it's okay to be selfish and just love yourself and make yourself priority. That's the most important thing. I think a lot of us forget that.
And I think that's
What we need to do.
the takeaway.
Yeah.
I think that's the nice
Yeah.
bow on this present.
Yeah.
We love you.
And I
We
love
appreciate
you,
you.
ladies.
We love you so much.
Love you, ladies, from
We're
day
so-
one.
We're so
you,
happy to
you
have
are
you
always
on our
a big
show.
support of us, and we're a big support of you. Everyone, go buy her book. Make really
Yes,
delicious
she just came out with
things.
a book,
Yeah.
a recipe
Yes.
book.
And thank you so much.
Thank
It was a beautiful
Thank
story.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing.
And on that note, we'll see you next
See ya.
time.
Peace out, Raincoats.